Welcome to Andy's Garage. I'm Andy Phillips. Today I'm going to show you how to replace the rear brake pads on a Nissan Quest. This particular one is a 2008, but let's go ahead and get started. Now the first thing we're going to do, we're going to get this thing jacked up. I'm not using the jack and the tire iron that comes with this vehicle. I'm just going to use a breaker bar. Highly recommend always keeping a breaker bar on hand. Sometimes these lug nuts can be very tight if you've had work done at a car shop or a tire shop. If you want to see some videos I've done pertaining to stuck lug nuts, things like that, I'll have those links down in the description in case you unfortunately encounter that. But we're going to get this thing jacked up in the air so we can get all of this off so we can show you what you're going to be getting into, and then we'll go over what you'll need to complete this. So I'm going to jack this up. We'll be right back. You can see I also have a jack stand under there. You don't want to rely solely on the jack, especially if you're doing work underneath. Now my particular Nissan Quest has hubcaps. If you have the rims, then it's going to be a little bit different than what I'm going to show you right here. Because the first thing we need to do is this hubcap slides off the front, and then we have just a basic rim, steel rim behind it. See, that slides off. We'll set that off to the side, and then we can pull this off. Let me get the camera in here. We'll take a look, and then I'll show you the items that we're going to be using. So as we look in here, this is your rotor right here, and then right here is your caliper. On the inside of it, that's our brake pads. That's what we're going to be replacing. Let's see if I can get a better shot of it. And looking in there, you can see it looks pretty bad. We were starting to get a little bit of a noise coming out of it, so I think we might be already worn down, but we'll have to take a look at that. So looking around here, you have these two guide pins on the caliper, one here and one down here. Those are 14 millimeters. We'll have to remove those to be able to pull the caliper out so we can get to the actual brake pads in there, and that's pretty much it. It's pretty easy. Now these are the items that you'll need to complete this. Not a lot. Obviously, to remove to remove the wheel, you're going to need, the jack and the lug nut wrench to do that. So I'm assuming you have that already, but you will need a C-clamp. I have a large C-clamp here. We'll need that to compress the piston on the caliper to fit the new brake pads on, and I'll show you that when we get to that. You will need a ratchet with a 14 millimeter socket. I also have a 14 millimeter wrench because the lower caliper pin that we need to remove, it's kind of tight back there and can't get the typical ratchet in there. You can use a pass-through ratchet. If you want to see what those are and how to use them, I'll have a link across the top down in the description. But for this video, I'm keeping it pretty simple for everybody. Then you will need your replacement brake pads, and that's it. This top one here, this 14 millimeter, this guide pin on the caliper, this one's easy to get to, so we can use our regular 14 millimeter ratchet, and then we can just get some leverage on this thing. Just give it a good push down, break it loose. There we go. Pull that out. Go. And now let's head down to the bottom and I'll show you that one. Here's the bottom one, and you can see you don't have much clearance right here. So it's hard to get the ratchet in there. That's where I use this. You can just bring this in, put your 14 mil on here, and then give it a good crank. And I'm going to have to do it with the camera off because I need both hands to grab this thing. We'll break it free. We'll be right back. And I know I just showed us pulling out this top guide pin here. It's best to put that back in place so that way you can hold this steady while we do this one. So with it here, put that back in like that. Get some leverage here. Give it a good hit. There we go. We can loosen it this way. Let's see if I can get a, there we go. We can turn it by hand now. And it's hard to pull that one completely out because of hitting here, but you don't really need to. If we slide this one out loose enough, okay, we'll pull this top one back out. And now this can slide out of the way and we can just fold it down, and now we can get to the brake pads here and pull those off. So let's get these off and take a look at them. Get these out. Sometimes if they're hard to get out, you can just take a flathead screwdriver and just kind of pop them out this way. But look at this. Down to the metal. That was the grinding noise that we were hearing before, but I'll get some close-ups. Let's take the inner one out. That one's got a little bit, but not much. You're down to literally about maybe an eighth. Just about to hit right there, that little leveling piece there that starts making the squeaking noise, but definitely this one here, the outer one, was completely gone. Taking a look here, you can see fragments of the pad still there, but right there, cutting right into the metal. Not good at all, because you start destroying your rotors at that point. And then this one here was just about to start hitting the little indicator there that would start making the squeaking noise, but either way, bad stuff. We're also going to replace these rails, so we'll pop these off. Just grab them here on both sides. There we go. Take that off. And then here's the top one here. And a lot of times when you get your brakes, they will come with replacement ones. Okay. Open these up. Here's your replacement rails. And then here's our replacement brakes. You can see the difference here. If we just set it out here, I'll bring you the one that was worn down. You have this compared to that. So put them together. You can see how much it was gone. So I'm going to put the rails in and then we'll put these in. Here's our replacement rail. So it just slides right over the rotor like that. And then you can see right here, you can see how it goes snug over that. We'll go on the other side. You want to push both of those down like that. And then now we'll come up and put the top one in. Same thing here. Bring it in. Like that. On both sides. That's nice and snug. And then we'll put a little bit of lubrication in the rail there, so that way the pads can slide well. So I'm going to lubricate that. We'll slide the pads in. Okay, so we have the inside one put in. We'll bring our outer one in, slide it right here in the rails. Have a little bit of some brake grease in there, so that way they slide nicely. Everything is nice and snug. So the next thing we need to do is compress this. So what we're going to do, we're going to use our C-clamp, and we're going to press that down. But what I do is I'll just take the older brake pad and lay that in front of the piston. That way we're not damaging the boot or anything of the piston. Get this thing opened up. And we'll do it like this. We'll have it like this. And just compress it like this. And you want to compress it all the way down to fit over it. There we go. Okay, slide that off. Now we can bring this up. Slides right over it. Move that boot out of the way. And then we can take our caliper guide pin, get it right back in here. We can hand tighten all this, and then we'll be back to tighten it back up with the ratchet and the wrench. This there, this in. And then what I like to do before we put the wheel back on, we'll go inside and just pump the brake a little bit to build the pressure back up with the piston, get everything nice and snug. Let's see. There we go. There we go. Yeah, because this is supposed to move, so that way as it compresses everything, you want all the pieces moving nice. You don't want anything stuck. Otherwise, you're going to get pads that are going to be wearing uneven, which could cause an issue. So now with that done, bring this in. Okay, that one's actually pretty tight. There we are. And then we'll come here on the bottom. This one's, there we go, that one's pretty tight too. And as you can see, it's moving nice because you want those caliper guide pins in that boot. They have flexibility there so it can move. So let's go inside, we'll pump the brake, firm that up, and then we'll be back to put everything together and wrap this up. Okay, there we go, firm it up. Nice. Now that's solid. Remember before it was moving? Because that piston is tightened up, everything is nice and snug in here. There we go, that's good. All right, so everything is good. Everything has been changed out, tightened up nice. Let's get this back on. I'm going to put the tire back on. We'll get everything tightened up, and then we'll be back to wrap this up. All right, so everything's put back on. That wraps up this video on how to replace the rear brakes on a Nissan Quest. As mentioned before, it's a 2008. I'll have links down in the description to other videos I've done with this vehicle pertaining to the Nissan Quest if you want to check those out. But I hope that this video was informative for you. I hope it helps you out if you're dealing with any brake issues on your rear brakes. I will be doing the front brakes as well soon in the upcoming video. Please send me any questions and comments. I would love to hear from you. And as always, I appreciate all the support. So please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time.